One thing I recommend you do if you can is to save your Parmigiano Reggiano rinds. This is a block of cheese right here. The smaller the block, sometimes you'll have a rind on one side and you'll have a rind on both sides. That's inedible, that portion. Instead of just throwing it out, wrap it up really tight, save it. It will keep for months in the fridge. You could even put them in the freezer. And anytime you make a soup, whether it's this one, pasta e ceci, pasta fagioli, ribollita, throw that rind in and it'll flavor it and you're making use of it and you're not just throwing it out. So I have canned chickpeas, and I'm gonna need 2 of these 20-ounce cans for half a pound of pasta. If you want more chickpeas, use more chickpeas. If you want less, if you want more pasta. These things are all about personal preference. I really want you to make it your own. You take this recipe as a base and then you just make it better or different. As far as bagged chickpeas, go ahead and use them. If you do, 1 pound bag of chickpeas is equal to about 3.5 16-ounce cans. 16-ounce cans are a standard can that you normally find in the supermarket. I like the convenience of just grabbing a can. So that's what we're gonna use. As far as the pasta goes, I use ditalini for pasta fagioli, so I'm gonna just change it up today and use these small shells that are really nice. The brand you normally see me use is the Cecco. I like the Cecco. I think it's the best brand for the money. There's more expensive brands. There's way more expensive brands of pasta you can buy. You kind of get into diminishing returns once you start going really high end. Touch of rosemary we're gonna have in it. About a half a can of tomato paste. You can use the liquid in the cans. It's high in sodium. Or you can rinse the beans, or you can do a happy medium of just drain the beans so some of the starch from the beans will still stay on there. If you need to make this soup thicker, you can take 1 whole can, you can blend it, or you can just, right now when we're doing the pasta and everything, just really start with just a little amount of water. But again, this is gonna be personal preference. All right, so about medium low, about 5-7 minutes to get them soft, and then we'll put the garlic in. I want to just keep this heat low. We don't really want to put any color on the onion, celery, carrots. Just want to get them soft. I recommend, depending on the brand of chickpea you buy, if you're using cans, some of them will be harder than others. Take a bite of them. If they're kind of on the hard side, you can let them cook for about 20 minutes before you add your pasta in. If they're kind of soft, you don't have to cook them that long. These are kind of soft. If you want hot pepper, add it in now. I'm gonna put in about 1/4 teaspoon. This is a great dish. It's an easy dish, and it's a dish that you can make your own. There's a million ways to make this. Tomato paste. Let this tomato cook out for about 5 minutes. It's always a good idea to cook out your paste. Now listen, this dish does not have to have any tomato at all, just like pasta fagioli, no tomato either if you don't want it. I'm gonna put 6 cups of water in right now. And that's just good old New York tap water, not special water or anything like that, and it'll be fine. Take your wooden spoon and scrape any little bits off the bottom, any of that tomato that hardened up on the bottom, any of the onion, carrot, celery that's stuck. Just try to dislodge everything. I'm gonna put both of the ends in, Parmigiano ends. Let them cook in there. It's gonna flavor it tremendously. If you don't have the rinds and you wanna just put in a bunch of cheese, go ahead and do that. You're gonna serve more cheese at the end anyway, but this is really nice. Bring this up to a simmer, let it cook for about 10 minutes before we add the pasta in. It's at a light simmer now. You can put the pasta in. You don't have to boil this pasta aggressively. It's gonna take a little bit longer than it normally would, but that's fine. And just remember, whenever you cook pasta, you need a lot of salt. We don't have much salt in here right now. All we have is the salt from the chickpeas, and some of that solution is gone. We have maybe a little bit of salt from the Parmigiano Reggiano blocks that are in here. So we're gonna have to add some salt, but that's fine. We could do that kind of towards the end. We'll see how much this reduces. Remember, we have 6 cups of liquid in here. We're probably gonna need to add more. So just keep your water by you. And when you need some more, if it gets too thick, add it right in. That's all you have to do. So that was exactly a half a pound of pasta. That was the Cecco small shells, but any small pasta would be fine. The only reason I didn't add ditalini in here is because I just did ditalini for the pasta fagioli. What my grandmother would do, and my mother still does this, is she will take maybe sometimes spaghetti, crack it into little pieces, use that, or other pastas. You're only using half for a soup, so half a pound of it will get saved in little containers. Just mark them, mark the date when you used it, and then you can always use it for any type of soup that you want. So as it cooks here, just keep stirring it so nothing sticks to the bottom. And so the box said 9 minutes. It's probably gonna take more like 19 minutes because we're not at a full roaring boil here. So it's not even close to done yet. The pasta's still hard in there, but you can see the liquid, how it's absorbing into the pasta. And if you feel that you need a little bit more liquid, so I have 4 more cups here. I'm scraping the bottom so nothing sticks there. Like say you make the whole batch a little on the thin side, you're serving a lot of grated cheese with it, that's gonna thicken it up too. So, and then a nice piece of bread, you can even put a piece of bread on top and just let it kind of sit. So there's sourdough, there's the cheese grater, and then the olive oil. Those are kind of the 3 things that I serve on both of these, and everybody can put on the amount that they want at the end. Do a little taste test to see if your pasta's getting towards cooked. That needs a few more minutes. All right, so it's still not quite done yet, but see how thick, how much reduced it's gone. So if it starts to get too thick and it's sticking to the bottom a lot, just take a little bit more water. And the heat will come back up in a second. This pasta needs about 3-4 more minutes still. It was going to reduce too much, so I added a little bit more water in there. All right, I'm gonna turn it off. The consistency's good. Then we need to season it to make sure that it has enough salt and everything. Remove the rosemary stem that you don't need. And I tasted it, and it needs minimum about 2 teaspoons of salt. Start there, mix it around, and we'll see, give it a taste, and then we'll just keep adjusting until we get it just right. Those ends, Parmesan rinds, you can just leave them in the soup, into the pot until you finish, and then you can just discard them. The way I like to serve it, with more grated cheese, good extra virgin olive oil. This is probably my favorite brand for finishing. And a piece of bread. So that's how you make pasta e ceci. Hope you enjoyed it. Share this recipe, that helps me out. And watching the episodes, the next videos really helps me out too. If you want to subscribe, that wouldn't be bad either.